I've run into this many times where people come in and their first message in chat is like, "Is this the Elon guy?" And then they stick around and they're like, "Wait, you're normal?" Like all they know is just me being like totally off the rails in Hassan's chat.
I've been an off the rails Hassan chatter before, but for different topics too.
So,
Yep.
Megaphonics, what the fuck is up with you and Elon Musk?
Okay. Okay, to start, I I just want everyone to understand my situation with Elon, and Fango will back me up on this. Fango lives in chat. Um, I used to be, and okay, I'll fully admit it. I used to be, hardcore Elon, hardcore Tesla, all this stuff for a few years. I had a Tesla. I sold it last year, but obviously, I mean, like, it's
And you
no
bought a
secret that
Rivian, right?
Elon has. No, no, car free, baby. There we go. Yeah, I live in a very walkable neighborhood now, so that's been pretty good. But anyways, yeah, I mean, I sold it, and obviously Elon's been losing people left and right, just fans, customers, what have you, for years with his right wing slides. So I think it kind of culminated for me in he made obviously a lot of like interacted with a lot of anti-Semitic accounts, and this was like back like a year ago when that was like, whoa, why is he doing this? And now it's like, oh, that's a Thursday. You know what I mean? When he
Yeah.
does that, but yeah, I mean, he surfaced anti-Semitic things, anti-Semitic memes, and as a Jewish person, I was like, I don't know how I can still support this at this point. Um, so yeah, so I sold it, but anyways, ever since then, I've become like the opposite of like a fan of Elon, just like obsessively, just like hating on him, which I guess makes it sound kind of bad. But actually, I've had him blocked for several months now. So
You've had him blocked?
yeah, I blocked him because I'm like, I don't want to see this shit anymore. It
Wow,
was
that
just
must have
like,
been a big
yeah,
moment for you.
yeah. But I mean, yeah, and as far as the reason why the reason why I offered to like talk about it is just with someone as someone who has the knowledge and the background of not just, seeing Elon over many years, but also being part of the Tesla community, being part of that community and seeing what it's become now, what kinds of people he's attracting now, and the people who were in that community, like Fango lives, who I mean, we're still very obviously into it, and like we pay attention to the news about it, but you know, it's way too far gone. But
So I guess my
yeah, that's
question
why I
is,
offered to.
did
Yep.
Elon change or did you change?
Well, I guess both.
Both.
Which only sped up the process. Yeah, I mean, I used to be, a lib, whatever you want to call it, and then now I'm definitely like socialist. And he used to be like a right of center, Obama voting kind of person, and now he's full on. I mean, yeah, it's just Nazi, right wing, fascist, et cetera, et cetera. So it's definitely kind of both, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So it seems like did like I mean I don't know. I don't really follow Elon that much. I've always kind of just been like, yeah, he's like a billionaire or whatever, like fuck that.
Yeah.
But did like was there like a moment that you could like pinpoint as like this is whenever he really went off on the deep end, or like outside, like is it really so simple as like he's just a victim of divorce court, or
No, there was definitely a point. I mean, I wouldn't say there was like one specific point, but it's been a slide. Obviously, like the anti-Semitic surfacing stuff, the like weird dog whistle stuff. He would like tweet things and then be like, "Why is everyone getting mad at me?" And the reason that people were getting mad at him is obvious, and it's just, and he, then he bought Twitter and everything just went crazy. But I mean,
he
I
was
guess like the reason that I
forced to
wanted
buy
to,
Twitter?
well, yeah. I mean, his problem is that he operates in a realm that's like, um, uh, doesn't want consequences, doesn't want any sort of like actual things like happening. But then it's like, oh, turns out you can't just tweet that you're taking Tesla private at 420. Turns out that's like a huge securities fraud, securities
Yeah.
crime. Turns out you can't just like say that you want to buy Twitter and then JK, it was just a meme, and then it's like, no, it turns out that's like a legally binding contract that you signed. Like, what the fuck are you like? Just thinks that you can just be a billionaire and you nothing will happen to you because you're worth billions. So that's
I mean,
kind of where that stems
realistically,
from.
though, when you have that much money, like, you don't feel the difference between like 70 billion and 1 billion. So, like, I mean, like,
Well,
realistically, even him tanking Twitter into the ground, like, the most that he's really going to feel that is in him not getting the attention he wants from Twitter, like.
yeah, I think, and this sort of goes to a conversation that another topic about Elon that I wanted to bring up, not just the Wall Street Journal and the lawsuit and all that stuff, but recently this week was the annual stockholder meeting for Tesla, and part of being a public company is that you have shareholders and you have proposals and voting and whatnot, and a board of directors and all this stuff that he doesn't have with his private company. So Twitter is just anything goes. He does what he wants, even though it's backed by private funds, but basically it's his toy. SpaceX, same thing, even though they have government contracts, so maybe it's a little bit more like ironclad, but same thing, it's privately held, so it's whatever. Tesla, it's really the example of his um, cult of personality coming to fruition, because you have not just him calling the shots, but they put these things up for votes. And one of the things is the $56 billion pay package that shareholders had approved in 2018, but then it was struck down by a judge. And they just re-voted on it. But leading up to it and the whole conversation around it was him basically begging for $56 billion. And all these people earning what, $56,000 a year, saying, we need to do this. We need to give him his money. He deserves it. He deserves it. So, I if you ask him, it really is, even if you have $200 billion, you're going to cry over $56 billion. Meanwhile, one of the points I was going to make is like, wouldn't it have been nice to, take that and distribute it to the 140,000 employees that work at Tesla that actually build the cars, that actually sell the cars, that actually create the profit? But that's just
Yeah,
me being
I've
a
actually
socialist.
met and spoken with some people in LA that work at Tesla, and they're like UI design and stuff. And they basically say that their job is mostly pretty good, but every like few months, Elon will just like come into the offices, and then like shit hits the fan, and like everybody hates their life. Multiple people quit during these periods. That he just like he's like essentially like the worst person that you could imagine on as a boss.
Yeah. And I mean I was just watching earlier today the kind of like the stockholder meeting, and it's just crazy because some of the stockholder proposals. So there's Tesla proposals, which are like the pay package, 56 billion, all this stuff, and then there's stockholder proposals, which anyone can bring if you hold shares in Tesla. And some of them are quote unquote activist proposals. So one of them, for example, is a proposal regarding annual reporting on anti-harassment and discrimination efforts. I mean, literally just like the bare minimum. And Tesla recommended against it, and it didn't pass. And so it's just like and the people that proposed it were like, 98% of Fortune 500 companies have this kind of reporting procedure, and Tesla doesn't. And it's just, I mean, I feel like that speaks perfectly to the fact that, Tesla doesn't take harassment seriously. They don't take things like, hiring diversity and hiring fairness seriously. And it culminates in this situation where you have this guy at the top, and anything he says goes. And we've seen where that goes. So.
Yeah, and I mean, all these other companies, they don't have it like for the benefit of the women working there, or it's literally strictly to limit their own liability to lawsuits. Which, if you're a shareholder, like paying out millions of dollars in lawsuits, or even bigger than that, like that's gonna affect your dividends or your bottom line, and like the stock price having massive articles written in the Washington Post, like that is not good for the stock price. That's why these places establish these kind of policies. Like, yeah, it really just kind of shows that, like, in some ways, like Elon is almost like his insistence on being like anti-woke, like kind of like wraps around and is like anti-profit, because like there's a reason that the capitalist class works in unison, and why like they adopt like pride events and shit like that all together at the same time. And it is strictly because of a very like specific thing of like, this is this is the profitable choice to make, you know.
Yeah, I think it's also ironic to bring that up, because one of the things that people dunk on every year during Pride is the fact that Tesla repeatedly tweets, or at least historically has tweeted and done big things about, Tesla supports LGBT rights, and they have like they always trot out like a rainbow wrapped Tesla and all this stuff, and they bring it to whatever local Bay Area parade and whatever. And I don't remember. I think it was last year they stopped doing that. But
No, there
basically coincides with.
I saw there's
what's
a wrapped Tesla truck at the at the
Oh, there
West
was.
Hollywood Pride, but I guess I don't know if it was like there by the company or just some like angel investor that
Yeah.
owns that ugly ass thing.
Well, basically the point is that they prided. I don't know if that's the right word. They took pride in their record on this, and then as almost a direct one-to-one correlation with Elon, basically, listening to libs of TikTok, things of that nature. They stopped caring about that, and I think that not only, like you say, like it's good PR, it's good whatever, that preventing lawsuits, things of that nature, for the companies, from a profit perspective. But I mean, similar reason to like why I ended up selling my Tesla. Like, the CEO of the company being supported by by the board of directors, all the stockholders, all the shareholders, spouting whatever drivel online as the representative of the company, like, makes people who identify with whatever is being talked about not welcome, basically, as your customers. And I mean, there are people who obviously just put that by the wayside, and they're just like, oh, it's just a Tesla. But you know I don't know, that's sort of my the thing that I've noticed the most about Elon and his companies and Tesla is just this increasing convergence with Elon. It's not just Elon is the CEO of Tesla; it's Elon is Tesla. Tesla is Elon. SpaceX is Elon, etc.
Yeah.
So that's like what we see with these stories, like Wall Street Journal, about all the stuff at SpaceX. It's just, that's SpaceX now. That's how that operates.
Yeah, he's
So.
clearly a narcissist, and is like very, very. He's one of the like I think most billionaires have like a personality disorder, but he has a very unique personality disorder of billionaires, where he like needs attention, and so he needs to like constantly be in the public spotlight, and he needs all of the credit to go to him. He just like needs the attention, and it's like, it's fucking weird, because if you're smart, you know what I mean? If you were smart, you would not do that.
There's smarts and there's ego. It's like, pick one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, his ego is so massive.
Yeah.
And also it's
I
like
was
we
just
blame everything on him. Like, if he just like bought Twitter and like put in a CEO and like never got his hands so dirty in it, none of us would blame him for every pussy in bio, reply that we get. But we do, because it's like, dude, you said you would come on here and you promised taking care of the bots, and you basically the only thing we've gotten with Twitter since Elon's like Elon taking it over is just like way more Nazis on the platform, people who were banned and rightfully banned being let back on. Like I don't know what he could have possibly done to the algorithm to make it the way it is,
but the whole like you can't go on the fucking website without seeing the most atrocious shit you've ever seen, and not
Yeah.
just about Palestine. Obviously, like you see people die on there every day, like just like random people, like, oh, look at this sidewalk crossing, and a guy gets fucking blasted. You know, it's like,
Yeah. And I mean, it extends also to open just violations of their supposed policies that you then report it and you get an instant email saying, "Oh, well, we looked into the report and it was nothing is wrong and there's still
yeah.
the account is still up." And it's like, well, I just reported it 10 seconds ago. How could you have reviewed it? And it's obviously just bot. But
Are you
yeah,
in the
I
Are
mean,
you in the community notes behind the like?
no,
You're not a community noter?
no, because
No,
I would have to like contribute so much to it, and I just
I
I
am.
don't. Oh, you are.
Yep. I am, and it's
Working
really
from
interesting
within, I
too
see.
because you see like I get to see community notes before they're published. You
Yeah.
know, so
Yeah.
I always find that interesting.
it's a-
My community note score is like abysmally low because of course I'm an activist and like like Twitter people who do community notes on Twitter are like awful. So
Well, that's the irony of it too. Is like the a lot of the community notes are biased and are like argumentative and all that shit. And but if it's in the the right direction, then it stays up. But if it's too combative and you're coming from the left or whatever, then oh, they're being ideological and they're misusing community notes. So it only ever works in one direction, as always.
yeah, they're
Um,
awful.
yeah. But I've been saying for ages. I mean, every time this comes up, like for example in Hassan's chat, when we talk about anti-Semitism and things of that nature, I've always said like has like Twitch and Twitch chat and leftist spaces that are moderated are like the safest place for people like myself. Whereas you go on Twitter and it's like free speech, but what that really means is Nazis run amok. I mean, I report people with the most abhorrent usernames all the time, and again, they don't get actioned on things of that nature.
Yep.
So it's just, I mean, it's pretty ridiculous what's happened to it. Yeah, I mean, there's no other answer to that other than just Elon is addicted to it, and his Twitter addiction has been long documented. So
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it is crazy because like it just seems to me also like there's just this there part of the nature of like Elon's like attitude towards censorship is like he is fine with censorship. He's fine with like suppressing, like topics. He's fine with doing all that, but just not about certain things, which is of course how it would go. But like, yeah, you can find like the most abhorrent threads, like with the most blatant anti-Semitic tropes, like horrible, like literally using like 1940s caricatures and political cartoons and shit like that. And it's just like, man.
Yeah. Fango's bring up a good point also, which is another thing I wanted to bring back to the Tesla shareholder meeting, is that there was another proposal, and this sort of goes to like the free speech thing, regarding adoption of freedom of association and collective bargaining policy. And obviously Tesla board recommended against it. It got voted down by the shareholders because they do everything that Elon wants, basically. And I mean, yeah, that's just another like hypocritical move, free speech, except for when it comes to, collective bargaining, unionization, etc. And I think Fango might be able to correct me, but I think it was in I don't know, one of the European factories of Tesla. They tried to start to unionize because it's like whatever the country was, I don't remember, but it's like a very high union membership country, and Elon just went like full like batshit like crazy about trying to stop that. And it's like he doesn't even get it. Like that is the norm in Sweden. There we go. It's not a factory. That strike is ongoing. Okay. Yeah, basically it's just like another example of it's his worldview. It's not like free speech. He's defending free speech. He's defending Elonism, Muskism,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, he's
Whatever
railing
works for
against
him.
wokeness and people's ability to call him stupid on the internet, like
Yeah.
basically.
Yep.
Well, anything else you want to plug or talk about in this?
No, I was mostly I did want to mention like that Tesla stockholder thing, because that was the other big news this week, is just that he got his $56 billion payday. And I just feel so strongly that, like, even if you're a moderate or whatever, and you're not like, billionaires don't deserve anything like I am, and you want all 56 billion of that diverted to the workers, like, fine, compromise. 28 billion to him and 28 billion to all the workers. And I ran the numbers, and like, if you gave it equally to every one of the 140,000 employees, $200,000 each. 140,000 people get $200,000 each overnight. I mean, stocks and whatever, it would be in stocks, but I just think that it's insane that there are so many people, um, Tesla shareholders, that don't see the inherent, um, that basically went with the notion that Elon and Tesla were trying to portray, which is, Elon created such massive shareholder value over the past 6 years. Elon led Tesla to a great, success. Elon is why Tesla is what it is today. And it's like, well, I don't think that if Elon was by himself in his garage that he could design, build, and sell, a million vehicles a year, right? So why does he get the 56 billion and everyone else gets nothing? Um, so that's just like my little socialist tirade on on
Yeah.
that aspect.
I mean, it also feels like Tesla's like stock is like way overinflated, that like, there's no way that it could have the value that it has in any meaningful way, like.
Yeah. There was some moment where he said, like, at the shareholder meeting, like, yeah, I can realistically see us hitting 30 trillion market cap in the next, like, however many years. And it's like, his whole thing is like that it's predicated on, I mean, this is getting in the weeds, but it's predicated on the full self-driving technology being like, oh, every single Tesla will be able to drive itself with no one in the driver's seat all day 24/7 and plug itself into charge and all this nonsense. I mean, that's like never going to happen. I've sat in cars without drivers regularly here in San Francisco, and Tesla is not doing that. And then, yeah, Fango says, like, the robot, the Optimus robot. So this is like their other thing. It's like they're just trying to copy Boston Dynamics and be like, oh, we're putting robots in the factories, humanoid robots. And he literally said on stage, he was like, yeah, I can foresee a future where there is at least one robot per person on the planet. So 7 billion robots, maybe two per person. And it's just like, dude, what the like? I swear he just like did some stuff backstage and then came out and like started talking about some random shit. So
Yeah, those are always horseshit. I don't know. It feels weird. I mean, I went to at TwitchCon last year. Did you go to TwitchCon last year?
Not last year. I went 2022.
So, but at TwitchCon in Vegas, they had the loop was like, the Elon loop like surrounds the conference center. So it's like, it was actually like the best way to get around, and not because it's a good way to get around, but just because like there isn't another option. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was so silly. It's so silly.
I mean, that goes also. I mean, this is a whole other rabbit hole I won't get into. But his whole thing with basically nerfing public transit from the jump. So he basically, there was going to be high speed rail in California, and he was like, wait, I'm working on this Hyperloop thing. And then he like he started the Hyperloop like project company, whatever. And then basically like gave it up. He was like, nah, it's just like a science project. I think Virgin Galactic owns it now, or not Virgin Galactic, but like Virgin, the company, Richard Branson. Anyway, so he was like, no, Hyperloop will be way better than high speed rail. So then people were like, okay, let's wait. And it turns out it's a dud. And it's like, meanwhile, that was like 10 years ago. Like, imagine where we would be if we had 10 years of high speed rail construction. I mean, yeah, and Fango says like it's about Elon wanting to skip the 405, like literally, and his whole thing about like wanting to build tunnels underneath for traffic instead of just, it's just like,
yeah, he's literally
go on a train, man. Like, take one train ride.
Yeah. I mean, that was the whole thing, is that you still wait in a public area, and then you get into a car that somebody is driving, and it's like, okay, so how many people need to be employed here driving this car?
Yeah.
and like
It's
you
literally
just
a
need
le
one person to take every single person on a train. You know, it's like
yeah.
so
It's a
silly.
less efficient train.
Yeah, way less
Or
efficient.
buses, you know?
Way less.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Um,
Megaphonics, you have a new EP out now.
oh my god, yeah. Okay, I legit, like, forgot that I can do self-promo. Yeah. I do have a new EP, it's out on Spotify and, like, Apple Music and all that stuff. It's
Go
called Give You
listen.
Love You
Go
PhDs.
stream it. Also,
Yeah,
Megaphonics is a streamer himself. So shout out in the chat. Go follow Megaphonics. Listen
yeah.
to Megaphonics' music, hang out in Megaphonics' chat, you know.
Appreciate it. Yeah. I think a lot of people I've run into this many times where people come in and their first message in chat is like, "Is this the Elon guy?" And then they stick around and they're like, "Wait, you're normal?" Like all they know is just me being like totally off the rails in Hassan's chat.
Hey,
And then they come and they're like, "Oh my god."
I've been an off the rails Hassan chatter before, but for different topics too.
Yeah.
And I never once
The
called
pipeline
myself
is real.
normal, so
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, thanks for having me on. It was a good little conversation. And if there's ever any major news in this realm in the future, I'll gladly be your correspondent again.
Sure.
Your on-call correspondent.
Sure.
So,
Okay, well, take care.
all right.
Take care, Megaphonics. I'm
Peace.
looking forward to seeing what you do and wishing you the best.
Thank you. Also, yeah, congrats on reaching partner. I forgot to congratulate you.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Been
Appreciate
sick to
that.
watch like the climb. So,
All right.
all right.
See you in chat. Peace out.
See ya.